In this video, I'm going to show you how you can raise your sagging floor joists with a jack and some blocks and even a metal plate. Sometimes a metal plate's going to be the way to go. Now, if you have sagging floor joists, you can raise them with a jack, screw jack, hydraulic jack, whatever kind of jack you want to use. The principles probably be the same here in the video. This particular method here is using a block on the bottom, a jack, hydraulic jack, and a 4x4 block. And you can simply put the block in the jack, set it up, measure what you need for the 4x4 post, and use this. Now, here's something that's going to be a little better. This is something I would use if I could. Cut a bunch of blocks, stack them in there, 2x10s, 2x12s, something like that. This method is actually a little better. If you could find, if you had 4x10s, 4x12s, 6x10, something like that, that's going to work even better. Now, I mentioned the metal plate. It wouldn't be a bad idea to grab a metal plate, something that's about 1/4 inch thick, 1/8 of an inch might be pushing it. Get a nice thick piece of metal and put it in between the top of the jack and the floor joist. This makes for a nice buffer. I've actually seen the joist split without if you just use the jack, so be careful with that. I like to use at least an 8-ton jack. 12-ton hydraulic jack would even be better. If you are trying to raise these floor joists up and they are not moving, you might need a bigger jack. If you get to where you have a 12-ton jack and you're not moving this stuff, I would seek another method also. Now, this is something that's very important. It's your safety. And when you do raise the joists, it wouldn't be a bad idea to stack some blocks or even cut like a 4x4 post with a that would sit on top of a block. Now, if you are going to use the 4x4 post and the block, I recommend nailing them, fastening them somehow together. Make sure that they're fastened to the joist. You'd be shocked. You're going to be raising the rest of the floor, working in other areas, and you'll actually raise these other joists. And if once this thing falls down, if it's not fastened securely, then you could be in a world of hurt if something caved in. I like to use the blocks. Blocks, stack them up, even if it's every other joist or every third joist, because that's going to provide you with a little more security. So make sure that when you're raising it up and you're working with it, that you look back and, if you're raising up 2 or 3 other joists, look back and see if there's a gap between the blocks that you stacked. Then make sure that you put another filler piece in there to take up the slack. It's gonna be, you're gonna be shocked at how many times you're gonna be jacking up one section and then trying to raise another section, and then you're raising the other section even a little further. You're gonna have to be aware of that and put the filler pieces in as they start to separate, I should say, or as their gaps start to occur between the floor joist and your blocking. Here's a method you can use. You can raise one floor joist, block it, and then move the jack over, raise that floor joist, and kind of work your way progressively down the row. You can always use 2 jacks if you're having a problem raising a floor joist. You can always use the 2 jacks like this. This works out pretty good. But remember, keep in mind, if you're putting a lot of pressure on these things and they're not moving, then this method might not work, or it might be time to call in a professional. Now, here's another thing you can use. You can, instead, if you only have one jack, you can jack up one side, move it to the other side, and you could always work with 3 sets of blocks. Have the jack working its way in between the three areas, you know, if you only have one jack. Here's another way you can raise the floor, and this is really probably what you're going to need to do if you have a large sag in the floor. And that would be to use multiple jacks, blocks, and posts. And you're going to need to work. You're just going to need to be raising the area up, readjusting the posts, adding more blocks, adding more shims, stuff like that until you get the floor where you want it. This is probably the method that is going to work the best. Now, this last part of the video, it just showing you some shims. Wouldn't be a bad idea to cut some wedges and some scrap pieces of plywood out a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, 3/8, something like that, that you can place in between the blocking and the posts to you know, to secure these areas when you start lifting other parts. So again, scrap plywood's going to work great. Cut some wedges for tight spots when you need to. And other than that, be careful. This isn't going to be an easy job, and good luck. Before you leave, don't forget to check out our money-saving discounted home book packages at gregvan.com. Homeowners, builders, and contractors. Check them out. Don't forget, if you're a contractor, to check out our book, 501 Contractor Tips also.